Hello again, welcome back. Very real video today, not that any of the others aren't real, but this one is probably one that you are going to be able to sympathize and empathize with on another level. Now, me and the wife last night had an argument that wasn't crazy, but it's about real life, and it's combining the point of the title of this video, what ambition costs, and applying it to real life, i.e. building a business with your significant other does not pause everything else. It just creates additional pressure. So when you're building a relationship with someone, you decide to start a business together, pause, stop, think for a second about what that may cost you for your relationship, for your life, for your mental health, everything else. Now, for context, this video is not going to be about placing blame at all. This was a constructive argument, and it was a realization point for sure for me on a few things. Now, keep in mind that as far as the business goes, I was the initial driver behind the idea, the premise, the morals that the business are going to have, the knowledge of Pokemon and the TCG, and kind of moving it forward from there. All of the admin work, the social media initially as far as Instagram goes, and Facebook, because she shares on Facebook and TikTok too, we're just not really focusing on those two as much, it's just kind of spillover from Instagram, has been, Seagull just nearly took my head off, has been the wife. It's been Sean, okay? So she's done a lot. She's learned a lot. She's learned how to edit on CapCut to a very decent level, and we've been upgrading our content recently, as you can probably see on our Instagram if you decide to follow us, and you'll just see the evolution of it, and it's interesting as that slowly gets better, in my opinion anyway. The argument was just about general life stresses. Started, with your typical back and forth bickering of, I do this, you don't do this, I do this, you don't do this. Nothing crazy, nothing special, but it happens. It happens to us too. I definitely want to make sure we come across as human. When it came to the business, there was a little conversation about unfair pressure, if you like, or her basically telling me that I couldn't expect the same amount of commitment or idealism / future sight than because she does other things, such as thinks about the daily stuff for the girls, the clothes, and stuff like that. Stuff that as men a lot of the time we just fail to do because, we're just different, aren't we? Men and women, we think differently and we focus on different things sometimes. And sometimes that communication gets lost and you have a bit of a ding-dong. So that's where it started. And I believe it started because there is a mental pressure in relationships and family life, let alone when you decide to introduce a business. So you're talking about stock, you're talking about admin, getting that together for the tax man, which we're still learning how to do for a limited company, because the first year of the company was self-employment. The second year, this year starting now, is the limited company side of things. So we're going to have to get an accountant, bookkeep, etc., etc., etc. All those kind of things. Plus cash flow problems, plus because we've had a recent spate recently of bills just smacking us in the teeth. Car broke down, other car broke down. Every month as well. The ex-wife takes a payment for the kids as well, which is best part of $1,000. I'm not saying that shouldn't be or shouldn't be. That's just the law, and that's what it is. But that is a bit of a smack in the teeth every month, as you can imagine. You have to build around that and take responsibility for it, and then assume it and just crack on. But that's not easy to do. It is not easy to do. Hell, we all know life is hard. So as I was saying with this argument, it got to a point where you look at each other and you go, okay, are we just going to throw mud back and forth, for lack of a better term, or are we going to just sit down and try and discuss and fix it? And we started to do that. And for me, it was a lot of self-awareness in the sense of, at least that's how I'm trying to approach arguments now, and say, okay, what could I have done better? How can I change? And I think the ambition sometimes can come across as obsession, can come across as emotional dissonance or disconnection, or just ignoring the other person a bit, purely because you're so focused on having a conversation with ChatGPT, or looking up business ideas, or just trying to find inspiration and ideas around the business, or constantly obsessing or talking about it. You need to learn, because the thing about having a business and starting that with your significant other means business never really switches off, and it follows you home because you have conversations about it all the time. And to be honest, I'm ambitious, but so is the wife. So we do tend to, a lot of the time, our relationship has turned into purely talking about business. And the thing about it is, because we love the idea of what the business can do for us so much, and we're obsessing of getting things right, that we can forget sometimes on, hi, you're Callum, I'm Sean, what's happening? we forget date nights and we forget things like that, and we can't, And something else that contributes to that relationship is you're not really sure how to adapt the everyday tone and rhythm of things and the way you're talking to your partner about business, about emotions, and just trying to manage it all around trying to raise 5 kids, 3 of which are with their mother from a previous relationship a lot of the time. We get them on alternate weekends and holidays and things like that. And then our full-time 2 girls that we have at home, who are very young as well. They're only 3 and 2, and they are high maintenance girls in the sense of they just want attention all the time, which is fine. And they're the normal kids in that sense, I'm sure. Managing that and trying to focus on business and get things done whilst trying to manage the house, whilst trying to figure out, finances, whilst trying to focus on our relationship, whilst trying to focus on our individual health and our individual hobbies. I like gaming, she likes reading, but we understand that everything else has to get done first before we can even think about hobbies. And we've started to understand that too and work that into what needs to be done, what's fun, where do we want to be, figuring all that out. So as you can imagine, that's pretty insane. Word to the wiser, if you're thinking of starting a business alone or with a partner, just realize that when that partner comes into it, or when they're with you to start it with, it's going to create another set of pressures and challenges that may hit you too hard. Now let's talk about the male side of it quickly. And the whole modern masculinity thing of these days, we don't even know where we lie, do we really? Let's be honest. From my side, I know that I have 5 kids and a wife that depends on me for everything, whether it's emotional, whether it's financial, whether it's just being the dad. That's a lot of pressure that I don't think we even acknowledge sometimes. We don't even want to talk about it because it's soft, isn't it? We define it as soft. So trying to figure all that out and go, I tell you what I think you should think about as a man is think about all that pressure. Think about what helps you most in dealing with it. That could be gaming. That could be going to the gym. Trust me, that's helping me. That could be just learning something new and feeling like you're doing the most every and each day. And that's a really hard one to balance too, because that wanting to potentially procrastinate sets in, and it's like a demon in it that just sits on your shoulder and goes, come on, come and play video games and eat a whole tub of Häagen-Dazs with me. I mean, yeah, life. The funny realization, I suppose, is that when I say balance, does that even exist in family life with business or at all? Really, just normal family life and working a 9 to 5? Does balance really exist? Or is it accepting that imbalance is part of it and you just have to get on with it every day whilst having long-term goals in mind and trying to shift that balance and adapt it to whatever we have coming our way here, now, tomorrow, day before, health, everything? Because Jesus, there's no way finding balance is like the norm. I refuse to believe in these perfect couples that you see on Instagram. Everything's great, everything's fantastic. We always look HD. We've never got skin problems, never got health problems. Our back's fine. We look amazing. We've got an 8-pack. Like, dude, no. And if that's true, those people don't have kids and they're insane. They're probably psychopaths. Because there's just no way, dude, you don't step up here and there. I mean, there are going to be those people that are obsessive to the level of Michael Jordan, and even then, you're going to have something, right? Balance is another word that's just pissing me off. So what did the argument actually teach me? Going back to the original point of the video and what ambition is costing. It taught me that you're going to have a blowout every now and then with your partner. But having the presence of mind to stop, pause for a second, give that person a cheeky smile and just say, listen, I'm really not trying to work against you here. Maybe some of this frustration, some of this argument is me not being happy about myself, but this is the future that I want with you. So can we work towards it, please? And I'm picturing my wife in this scenario. We just kind of chuckled for a second. We're like, okay, you tell me your frustrations. I'll tell you mine. Let's have a conversation. She was like I said, the day-to-day, don't feel like you do it enough. I could use help here, here, and here. I was like, yeah, fair enough. I hear you. I'm going to try. And just pick me up when I'm not doing it. And on the flip side, it was me saying, listen, keep the long-term visions in mind. keep the discipline. Let's try and stay disciplined. Let's try and not miss a single month in the year of just consistent content, consistent showing of the grind, consistent work within the business, consistent work on our relationship and work on the family. And let's see if we end up in a better place, because we haven't done that yet, have we? So let's give it a try. And her going, yep, I like that idea. And us just going, cool, let's hug it out. And oh my God, I've just stumbled across a huge drowned rat, which, funny enough, I just filmed the Raticate and Ratata shorts over in the short section if you want to check them out. But look at this baby. Damn, that looks small on character, but that's my hand for reference. I've got a pretty big hand. That's a big old rat-a-tat-tat. So Raticate for sure. For sure. Sorry, buddy. Unlucky. I guess he just I'm surprised the seagulls aren't eating him. Jesus. Because seagulls will eat anything. I've seen them eat pigeons around here. So, at the conclusion of the argument, if you like, we started having a conversation about how we can move forward in a good way. And it was just trying to set up working practices around being more disciplined. Maybe her, for example, setting a day in the week where after work and after showering with the girls, she gets to lock herself in the room and just concentrate on editing, get editing done, reels done for the week, and call it a day. And if you feel like doing a bit more and getting ahead, you do that. Me, literally trying to do it here and where I can, which I do, and she allows me to do because my shift work and the fact that I have all those bills to pay that I was talking about and kind of referencing before without getting too personal, I have to do overtime like crazy. I'm not saying, hey, hope I'm a victim about it and I'm not happy about it. However, that's the reality of my situation. That's what I have to do. And I'm just going to admit the fact that it's not easy, but it is what it is. So I'd like the takeaway of today's video to reach out to those couples, whether you're building something with them or not, or you're just getting through the daily struggle of life, to identify when issues are coming up, pressures are coming up, try and talk about them early on with a respectful tone. You're going to have a blowout now and then, right? I'm not saying that's going to get out of it, but it just helps if we try and go the right way first. Communication is key with anything. This isn't just your partner romantically, it's now your business partner too. So I suppose the final objective is finding that balance between, you've got a business model, you've got an idea, it's proven that it kind of works with the small amount of clients that you have and you can build upon that and compound it. But what is the point of doing it in the first place if you cannot build it and keep the whole reason why you're doing it in the first place together, i.e. your family and your wife? If you can't do that, and this is coming from someone who's already been through a divorce, if I can't focus on trying to keep them tight together first, and the whole premise of the business is dead anyway. So it was an interesting, chilling kind of revelation of I really need to level up in how I'm doing and approaching all of this. So if any of that resonated with you and you want to talk about it, drop me a comment. I'll make sure I'll reply. Aside from that, that's just another video of the Daily Grind from Southern Light TCG. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.